Welcome back, everybody. I haven't done a video in a long time, but the recent coordinate solve that KPRO and Cal and Cynthia and Justin put out compels me to do a video today. Uh, you know, uh, First of all, I disagree with the coordinate solve. There's so much objectively, actual things that Forrest has said that contradict this solve. First of all, let's start with the little girl in India. Forrest said that the little girl in India who had the poem and a map of the Rocky Mountains couldn't get past the second clue. Now, if the coordinate solve were correct, the little girl in India could solve the whole thing, right? Other than going to get it. But she could certainly get past what would be considered the second clue. I mean, if the coordinates are in the poem, she could solve all the coordinates and have the location to go to. So that there's no explanation for that. It was asked. There's been no answer. So that's number one. Number two, the coordinate solve requires you to believe that none of the books mattered, that the scrapbooks didn't matter, that all you need was a poem and you have these coordinates. First of all, Forrest spent 15 years, well, I think he kind of walked back on that a little bit, but he spent a long time coming up with his poem, making sure it was correct in the way he wanted it. He said he looked up every word to make sure he knew the meaning of the word. Now, if you have this coordinate solve, there's absolutely no need to look up every word in the dictionary of the poem, right? Because the coordinate solve is based on very easy words like alone, gone, what else? To, afar. So it just doesn't jive. Also, he said there are no shortcuts. It's another thing. The other thing, the blaze cannot feasibly be removed. Okay? So now they're saying first there was two trees, realizing that trees could easily be removed and those little axe marks could be removed. Now they say that the blaze are the coordinates. Well, that's not right either. Forrest said the blaze is a physical thing. You can see it, right? The coordinates, it doesn't fit that. Um, so there's just so much, and I'm not even that bothered by KPRO or Cal or Cynthia. What really bothers me is the fact that all these other searchers are buying into it, right? I mean, this is supposedly a solve that Cynthia got over a year ago at FEMBRE. So we're led to believe that this person who's not the finder had this solve, but then is also linked to the finder because supposedly he said that there was going to be an article coming out on the search. He said there'll be an article coming out next week. Well, there was an article next week, but there's also the Guardian article which came out the day after the Medium article. So he could have been referring to that for all we know. It just doesn't fit. Also, the finder in his article, in the Medium article, said two can keep a secret and now one of them is dead, meaning Forrest had died. Well, clearly that implies that the finder is the only other person that knows. So they want us to believe that the finder told this other guy who happened to meet Cynthia last year at FEMBRE the solution. There's no way, people. No way. It doesn't fit. And their interpretation of the 9 clues, so they're saying is double encoded. First of all, Forrest said there's no knowledge of codes and ciphers will not help you to the location. Let's start with that, right? There's just so much, people. And then, Isa Lake as the where warm waters halt. And then the home of Brown is DeLacy Creek, and then their explanation for DeLacy Creek is all this stuff that is clearly specialized knowledge that no one would just know. You'd have to look it up to know it. And it's probably obscure on top of that. I don't know. I haven't bothered to look it up. But you have to look it up. No one would know DeLacy Creek has a connection to anything Brown. So, and from the spot, in Cynthia's video, it shows the mountains. Well, they're out in the open. That's not the spot. Back where the spot supposedly was, you can't see any mountains. You're covered in by trees. You can't see anything. It's just, and then they're. I mean, no offense. I really like KPRO and Cal, and I enjoy their show, but you know, why would anyone get so excited about somebody else's solution? I mean, you'd think they're the ones who found the chest, and they're crazy excited about just going to a spot someone told them about. I mean, really? That doesn't take a whole lot of skill. I'm sorry. I'm just really upset. Again, it's the searchers. If anybody other than KPRO and Cynthia were involved, like myself or any other non-celebrity searcher, people would laugh this off the block. Nobody would accept this solution. But since it's KPRO and Cynthia, people accept it, and that's more. That says more about the community than it does about KPRO and Cynthia. They're happy they found their solves, and that's good for them. But the fact that all of you guys that are believe it, that really says something. I mean, again, being excited about somebody else's solution, not endorsed by the finder, endorsed by some guy who claims to have a connection to the finder, when we know the finder isn't saying shit. The finder is being very quiet. So it doesn't make sense, people. And again, go back to the objective things about what was said by Forrest. It just doesn't fit. And so, you have the kangaroos and whatever, supposedly, that the word water doesn't work with ATE for 8 because it either doesn't sound like it or it's not written like 8. I don't know. It's just too much, folks. I can't, it really upsets me. I know there's something wrong with me that it upsets me so much, but it really does. But anyways, that's my rant. I'm going to go, hopefully, I don't know, I'll make another video sometime soon, but maybe not. Anyways, take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you later.